What can I say, guys? Democrats are at it again. So first, there's Judge Juan Merchan in New York insisting on his sentencing on President-elect Trump when the result is it's really just a non-sentence. So in other words, a complete waste of taxpayer money and just complete BS. I mean, it'll probably get tossed out in the appeal court along with the rest of the cases against President-elect Trump. But yeah, so Democrats, they seem to be hell-bent on causing as much damage as they can on the way out. But it's not only that. President Joe Biden just announced that nearly 1 million migrants from Sudan, Ukraine, El Salvador, and Venezuela, a breeding ground for members of the vicious gang Tren de Agua, they will be able to stay in the United States for the next year and a half. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much a low blow to President-elect Donald Trump's hardline immigration agenda. Apart from that, President Joe Biden is railroading the TikTok ban, but legal experts say that it won't really have that much of an effect. Americans will keep TikToking. More on that later and other news that matters to you in this jam-packed update, guys. Just don't go anywhere. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. First, here's what President-elect Donald Trump had to say about the New York sentencing hearing against him. Watch.
His records were extremely accurately counted. I had nothing to do with them. That was done by an accountant or bookkeeper who I think gave very credible testimony and was corroborated by everybody that was asked. And with all that's happening in our country today, with a city that's burning to the ground, one of our largest, most important cities burning to the ground, with wars that are uncontrollably going on, with all of the problems of inflation and attacks on countries and all of the horrible things that are going on, I got indicted over calling a legal expense a legal expense. It was called a legal expense. I just want to say I think it's an embarrassment to New York, and New York has a lot of problems, but this is a great embarrassment. I believe that this and other cases that were brought, as you know, the DOJ is very much involved in this case. It's because that's the political opponent they're talking about. The DOJ is very involved. You have a gentleman sitting right there from the DOJ who was from the DOJ's office. He was also involved with the New York State Attorney General's case.
First thing that came to mind when I heard this, guys, what was Biden's crimes? Or how about Bill Clinton's crimes? Or Barack Obama's crimes? How about Hillary Clinton? Where's the justice here? You know what I mean? We're talking about an unprecedented conviction against a former president where Trump was ultimately sentenced to an unconditional discharge. In short, it all amounts to a whole lot of nothing. He called it a very terrible experience and an embarrassment to New York. And as he explained, it's been a political witch hunt that was done to damage his reputation so that he would lose the election. That's it. He said that the people of the country got to see this firsthand because they watched the case in Judge Juan Merchan's courtroom. And then they voted and Trump won. In short, Trump saying that the American people are on his side. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, basically called it a smear job, saying that he very, very much disagrees with how much of what the government has just said about this case, about the legitimacy of what just happened in the courtroom during the trial, and about President Trump's conduct fighting this case from before it was indicted. Also, while it was indicted, to the jury's verdict, and even to this day. But still, Judge Merchan defended his actions and said that one power they do provide is the power to erase a jury verdict. And all he had to say to Trump at the close of the hearing, "Sir, I wish you Godspeed as you assume the second term in office." What a dick. But come on, guys. This is really nothing if you look at it. Merchan's unconditional discharge sentence means that there's no punishment imposed, there's no jail time, fines, or probation. So are we supposed to look at Judge Juan Merchan like he did Trump a favor? Forget that douchebag. The sentence also preserves Trump's ability to appeal the conviction. And sure enough, the president-elect has made it very clear that he wants the conviction tossed. And as he said from Mar-a-Lago, they're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that should not have even been on this case. And I've been saying this for a long time, guys. You can expect that while Trump's in office, Trump's attorneys are going to be exhausting every single legal avenue to continue fighting the conviction. That's a process that will likely take years. And sadly, a whole lot of taxpayer dollars and government resources. But hey, New York's made a habit of wasting those resources, so we'll see where that goes. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens next time, especially since Trump's top defense attorneys, they're going to be entering this administration. Todd Blanche, who was sitting beside Trump in the sentencing hearing, has been tapped as Deputy Attorney General, and Emil Bove, who appeared in the Manhattan courtroom on Trump's behalf, was picked up to be the Principal Associate Attorney General. So yeah, if the lower appeals court upholds the jury's verdict, verdict, Trump can ask the Court of Appeals, New York's highest court, to consider his case. Now, if his appeals fails in New York, he can then take the case up to the U.S. Supreme Court. And that's a move that he's expected to pursue if all of these other efforts are not successful. I mean, our president-elect was never one to back down from a fight. I think we all know that at this point. Well, like Judge Juan Merchan, Godspeed to Trump in his second term, right, guys? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Hit the like button to show your support for the channel. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Totally appreciate you guys. We're growing our community here. It is amazing. But yeah, so the second bit of the Democrats' attack on our country, the Biden administration just gave what is essentially a deportation of nearly 1 million migrants from Sudan, Ukraine, El Salvador, and Venezuela. This is a breeding ground for members of the vicious gang Tren de Agua. This means that these immigrants will be able to stay in the United States for the next year and a half and help deal a blow to President-elect Donald Trump's hardline immigration agenda. To be very specific here, the Department of Homeland Security extended by another 18 months temporary protected status for roughly 1,900 Sudanese immigrants, 103,000 Ukrainian immigrants, 232,000 Salvadorian immigrants, and 600,000 Venezuelans. So the program will now allow up to 937,000 eligible foreign nationals to stay right here in the United States until 2026 instead of having initially been scheduled to terminate later this year. And this backdoor program into the United States seems to have a pretty interesting history. You see, this all started from a law that was signed by President George W. Bush in 1990. The TPS provides work permits for migrants from up to 16 countries who want to stay in America rather than return to home nations marred by armed conflict, political instability, or other threatening conditions. Back during his first term, Trump scrapped the program and expelled around 400,000 migrants before they challenged him in court about it. But he vowed on the 2024 campaign trail to do it again if reelected. And VP-elect J.D. Vance confirmed it too, saying that they're going to stop doing this mass grants of temporary protected status. I mean, this program, it has done a lot of damage in terms of letting terrorists into our country. The prison gang Tren de Aragua was migrated from Venezuela to more than a dozen U.S. states in recent years, setting up shop in California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Wisconsin. And remember the commotion about Haitians during the campaign? Well, another 309,000 Haitian immigrants included in the program already had their 18-month protection renewed last August, meaning their status will terminate in February 2026. All in all, the conditional status currently yields migrants from Afghanistan, Cameroon, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Haiti, Honduras, Lebanon, Myanmar, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Ukraine, Venezuela, and Yemen. So yeah, a whole lot of immigrants from a whole lot of countries affected by war and violence. Now the question is, are they going to bring all of that into our country as well? Well, that's definitely something that we need to keep an eye on, guys. Wouldn't you say? Now, in other news, a federal court, i.e. the justice system under President Biden, just confirmed that they're upholding the law forcing the sale of TikTok and potentially banning the platform right here in the United States. Here, watch.
Big breaking news out of the tech world. A U.S. federal appeals court has upheld a law forcing a Chinese company to sell TikTok. Grady Trimble's tracking it. He has been for a long time, and he's got more. Hey, Grady.
Hey, Shannon. So TikTok's main argument in fighting against this law that Congress passed and that the DOJ was defending in court that would either force the company to divest to a U.S.-based company or a company that's not based in China or face a potential ban. TikTok's argument was that this is an affront on Americans' First Amendment rights, their free speech rights, because so many Americans use this app, 170 million American active users on TikTok. But today, the Court of Appeals that TikTok was appealing this law to decided that it's okay for this law to remain in place, that in fact on January 19th, 2025, it's quite possible that the wheels could start turning to force TikTok to either sell to a U.S. or other friendly country-based company or potentially face a ban in the United States. So it's upheld for now. We'll see what happens, and we'll see whether President Biden gets the wheels rolling before the day before the inauguration, Shannon.
You know, guys, I heard Biden is planning on pardoning TikTok. Wouldn't that be a gag, right? Seriously, though, guys, the case already with the Supreme Court is on whether a law that could ban TikTok in the United States is constitutional. But experts are already weighing it in. what if TikTok is banned and people keep using it anyway? Because as Glenn Gerstel, a former top lawyer at the National Security Agency and a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies policy research organization put it, the law is basically Swiss cheese with a lot of holes in it. So there are obviously ways around it. Mark your calendars, guys, because the TikTok ban date is already set for the 19th. But here's what the TikTok ban law actually says and what it doesn't say. Because see here, guys, when other countries ban apps, the government typically orders internet providers and mobile carriers to block web traffic to and from the blocked website or app. Now, that's probably not how a ban on TikTok in the United States would work. Two lawyers who reviewed the law and said the text as written doesn't appear to order internet and mobile carriers to stop people from using the TikTok app. Now, according to Alan Rosenstein, a University of Minnesota associate law professor, he suspected internet providers aren't obligated to stop TikTok use because Congress wanted to allow the most dedicated TikTok users to be able to access the app, so as to basically limit the First Amendment infringement. Plus, the law also doesn't order Americans to stop using TikTok if it is banned or to delete the app from our phones. The law does say that if TikTok is banned, mobile app stores, that's Apple and Google mostly, will be obligated to stop making TikTok available from their stores in the United States. Otherwise, they would pretty much just rack up some pretty heavy fines. Now, the law also says internet hosting providers must stop supporting TikTok if it's banned. Now, most lawyers say that that probably just refers to the companies that provide back-end computer horsepower or equipment. But just in case you guys are curious, there's always ways around the TikTok ban. First of all, you guys have heard of like VPNs, right? That's the number one thing that I'm thinking right off the top of my head. But if you guys know Fortnite, the mobile video game, it has been blacklisted since 2020 from the Apple and Google app stores because of a business dispute. But this past summer, Fortnite owner Epic Games made its games available from an app that you can download from the Epic Games website on Android phones globally and to iPhones on the European Union. And get this, guys, about 6 weeks later, Epic Games said that there were more than 10 million downloads of the app outside of Apple and Google app stores. So that didn't even do anything to hurt them. In fact, because of FOMO, fear of missing out, it actually made the game more popular because people were like, well, you don't want me to play it. Now I want to play it even more. Plus, they'll be able to block people from installing TikTok, but they can't stop them from using the app that's already on their phone. It's just that they won't be able to push updates to the app on your phone, so it might become a little bit buggy or broken over time. But that's probably going to take a while though, and of course, there's always ways around that too. Others are suggesting using a VPN or a virtual private network that throws your location to another place in the world, letting you go on whatever website you want. Basically, a VPN just kind of makes you like fake where you're at so you can use it anyway. So yeah, I think you guys get it. Lots of ways around this TikTok ban, and that's if Trump doesn't put a stop to this TikTok ban when he returns to office. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think about this, because the comment section in that clip that I shared was all over the place. Are you for banning TikTok in the United States, or are you against banning TikTok in the United States? Y'all let me know. Drop a quick yes or no in the comments down below. Let's get a conversation going. And also, you can be sure I'm going to keep you guys posted on this and all the news that matters to you guys on the next one. So appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.